to our Into the Woods project. We are so excited to be able to show this to you today. This was a massive remodel project that we took on and we finished about 2 years ago, and we're just finally being able to take you through a tour. So come on in. We're going to start with this grand entrance. You can see the magnitude of this house, but to really give you an idea of where we started from, I want to take you to the original entrance of the original cabin that was built in the 1990s. So we'll pop over there.
Something about you, something about you, something about you.
I'm standing outside the original entrance of the cabin that was built back in the 1990s. We wanted to preserve everything we could about this just to keep the integrity, the charm, the quirkiness of this log cabin structure. So we're going to go inside and I'm going to show you some of our favorite things about this entry.
I've learned to enjoy the little things. Right now I think you'd be good with me. Let's take on the night, just the both of us. Growing up, yeah, no one's in a rush. Don't care where.
Before we get too far, I want to point out some things that I love about this space. The first is we love a good moment for a Dutch door. And what a perfect spot for this. You have this porch out here with the wood deck. You've got the grass outside. It's just ideal. And so this was one thing that we really knew we wanted to capture right away. All of these original log beams were a bright orange when we got into this project. They had to be changed. We still love the log cabin feel, but we needed to help freshen it up. So they were all sandblasted. This entire log cabin was sandblasted, which was a very major undertaking. And then we went over the top of the logs with kind of a gray, almost khaki glaze, just to soften the look of it. And I think it also made it feel a little bit more weathered, like it had stood the test of time. It's really cozy. It's really soft. I love this little entry area. We wanted it to be an immediate experience right when you walked in. We're going to go take a peek at some of the other rooms. This is the great room of the original building, which is now kind of a sitting area or a secondary living room. Again, you can see we had all the original wood beams. We wanted to create just a conversation area. We didn't want it to feel formal, but we didn't want the focus to ever be on media or television. This is really a retreat for family or groups to come and be at. So we wanted to just have a really cozy conversation area right off the get-go. We mixed some patterns and chairs. We have like some fun plaids. This really fun tribal pattern here kind of makes you feel immediately like you're in the woods. We have something really cool I want to show you. And this is going to be a nod to something a little further into our tour. This is a vintage minecart that we found on, I think it was on eBay. And we needed to fill this space here, but we also wanted to have a spot to put firewood in because we have real wood burning fireplaces in this house. So what a cool little addition that we found. It's perfect. It weighs so much. It was so hard to get in here, but it actually was a really neat find. And it's underneath this original staircase that the owner who built this cabin built himself. And when we get to the top of that, I'm going to show you something kind of fun up there too. On the main floor, we have 2 bedrooms and a Jack and Jill bathroom. We wanted both of these to feel just super cozy, really inviting, and definitely like a cabin experience. So we have elements in each of these just to give you that experience. I really love an iron bed if you're wanting to have a vintage feel. It just immediately takes you there. So this is a darling green iron bed. We have a really fun tree pattern on the draperies. Again, our logs that are original to the home. I'm always like a sucker for a camo and a plaid, and the mix of the two, super fun. So just a really cozy little space for guests. We'll walk over to the other suite. And this is a really special place in my heart. You ruined it.
I was trying to clean up because there was a million things in this bathroom, so I was like shoving them in drawers.
I was like, where are you trying to hide
I was like, why are you trying to jump out at me and laugh? Okay. All right.
Sorry.
You were on a roll there.
Oh my gosh, I know I totally ruined it. I thought you were going to come into this bathroom first. And I was like, there's going to be all these ugly soaps and bottles and the toilet paper. So I was like cleaning it up and I wasn't fast enough.
No.
That's so funny.
We'll go to their bedroom and then we'll go to the bathroom. This room has a really special place in my heart because this bed is actually the owner's childhood bed, which is so sweet. And I was so excited that we got to use it. It actually is like bulletproof. This thing could go through the war and back, but it just gives, again, that really eclectic, collected, and like a feeling that this is just an ancestral home. We really were very purposeful in the linens that we used and we selected through this whole house. I just wanted things that were like wool and like patterned and felt like, you know, maybe this has been passed down. I love this little pattern here with the herringbone and the applique on the top with the woodsy scene, some velvets, really cool ceramic pottery looking lamps. I think they're beautiful against our log walls. These two bedrooms share a common bathroom. I love how this turned out. It's kind of as a challenge when they first asked me to work on this log home. I was like, I don't know, log home, making it modern, a little bit of a challenge, but it actually ended up being so much fun because we were able to bring in like really earthy elements and things that kind of felt vintage, but mix them with some modern day pieces. And this is a perfect example of that. I love this limestone mosaic floor. Again, it feels earthy, but the pattern feels a little bit more up to date. A vintage tub. I love the hardware that we have like for the bath fixtures. We did them in an oil rub bronze. Again, kind of makes it feel a little bit more woodsy. I love this tile on the shower floor. We have some stone tile in different places in this house with the pebble shape. And I think that just feels like we just collected it from the nearby river or something. We did a lot of honed finishes with the countertops to keep that organic, not dated, but like old, weathered feeling. And then we actually have a lot of reclaimed cabinets in this house. The reclaimed doors also give a nod to that. And even our baseboards have that really rough sawn wood texture, which helps just keep you in this vibe of being in the woods. We're gonna go upstairs now and show you the upper suite. But before we do that, I have to show you the antler chandelier because what log cabin wouldn't be complete without an antler chandelier? And this one's just an updated take on it. Super pretty, I love it. We're gonna walk upstairs. And like I promised you, I'm gonna show you a couple details about this staircase. You can see how each of these stair treads is literally like half a log and they're open at the same time. So we wanted to keep this original staircase. It's very cool. And this is even like just weathered. We didn't really clean it up a lot. This wood floor up here is also original. So it has a really beat up feel, but we love that. And that was just a cool part of this. We got to introduce Mr. Eagle to you. He made it through the whole renovation, and at times he had a hard hat on and a shower cap on, but this is originally carved, integrated into this post, and you know what? We love him. We thought we needed to keep him. We're gonna go into this upper suite. I love funky ceilings like this. It makes it a little bit tricky when you're doing furniture placement and when you're trying to figure out how to arrange the room because you don't have natural symmetry, especially in this space. But I love the charm. I love the uniqueness. I love that it just has an instant personality of the room. We did not want to lose that anywhere in this house. So we have just this little fun sitting space here. And then we did like a textured wallpaper on this side of the bed, which we really had to have because when you have logs everywhere else, just a drywall, it looks like it was forgotten. So you'll notice in the rest of this house, there's almost no wall that's left without some type of a wall treatment. So I love that we did this. We just have like a fun bed. Again, like lots of great textures, just something you want to get in. Can't you just imagine having like the fireplace roaring, it's snowing outside and just being all cozy and tucked in here? That's the feeling we wanted to capture. We're gonna go into this suite's bathroom. It's behind this barn door. We have a lot of barn doors in this house. We used them a lot. They fit really nicely with our aesthetic. This was a really challenging space. It actually steps up a level. You can notice that we have that same pebble stone tile floor that you're gonna see in a few spaces in this house. This one's in a quartz, so it kind of has that see-through quality, which I love. You will immediately notice how tricky these ceilings are. We have this really steep pitch, which is great because it gives us a lot of height over here by the vanity, but it comes down really low over here by our tub. So we had to get very creative when we were thinking about how we were going to work around this. One thing we did for this water closet, because we wanted to have extra sun coming through the sunlight, is we created this looks almost like an outhouse. And so we have a false roof with like a metal roof on the top. Again, you go behind the barn door for the water closet, kind of a funky moment. We think it turned out really neat. This tub, which is made by Native Trails, it also is the same material that is on our vanity sinks. This is 3,000 pounds when it's filled with water. So this was a major engineering feat to figure out how to, get it into the space, and also how to make sure that the floor could hold that weight load. They did it, we got it in, it was successful, and I love how it just has that organic feel to it. In the shower, this was also really tricky. We have these structural wood log beams that we could not get rid of. So we opted to just treat them with a waterproofing sealant and just let them be in there. And I actually really love it. I think it's part of the experience, and they'll be safe. They won't like rot out, so we're all good there. And this vanity, we have a double sink opportunity here, so of course we want to take advantage of that. Again, we did another limestone mosaic, just feels really earthy, a little bit tumbled. I love the hardware we selected from Rocky Mountain. These are cast bronze. They just patina with age, so it will just continue to feel antiqued the older they get. Just outside of this upper level suite, you're gonna find this loft. We were really excited and very intentional to create moments for people to just retreat and escape. A cabin is a place where you should be able to have some serenity, just a different pace in everyday life. So we wanted to have like every little nook we could, a place to read a book, a place to play games, a place to study or meditate. Over here in this game section, we have like a pretty vintage rug. We have this cool table with a metal top. Just love to mix the textures. And I thought this was so fun. This is actually like a Risk game board that's framed like a piece of art. It's magnetic. It's on a vintage art easel, which is kind of fun. I also just wanted to point out this original railing. Look how crazy this is with the original root and like this tree stump is. We just wanted to like keep all of those moments integrated into this home. We're gonna go into the kitchen now, but on the way, I just wanted to point out this big window that we cut in. This was a really tight, dark, narrow hallway, and this made a huge difference. We couldn't do anything with this wall because this is our stone fireplace and structural, so this made the world of a difference. Coming into the kitchen, I actually think this is my most favorite part of this home. This was really tricky, again, because we have low ceilings, we have all these structural beams that we had to work with, and this is also where we're going to transition into the new areas that were added on. So there's a lot of things that we had to think through to get this space to work right. You can see right here, this is where the original wall was to the outside. So this was the space we had to work with. For this size home and for the amount of square footage that we are gonna add to this, we needed a much bigger kitchen. So we opted to continue the kitchen out into this new area that got added on. In this original half of the kitchen, however, we had some things we had to work around. One of them was this beam here. This is a structural beam. It's quite low because every log is unique and individual. They all have different shapes and sizes. So where we wanted to put this fridge and freezer, this beam actually gets thicker and it was limiting the size that we could put in here. So we had to search high and low, and we had to have this fridge and freezer brought in from Germany so that it could clear the bottom of that log. I was so scared because I was like, if this doesn't fit, we are like in a world of hurt. But it did. It barely clears like by an inch, so we were really lucky with that. We also have this really beautiful hutch that we built. We wanted to have it feel more like a furniture piece, like it's your grandmother's hutch with china in it, pots and pans, but it's also hiding a secret because inside of there is a mini split that we needed to hide because they are not cute at all. And also it needed to still have like ventilation. So we have like this wire mesh covering it. And it worked out so good, which I was so happy because I hate the mini splits. I know you're asking, why does this house have mini splits? It's because when you have a true log cabin formation like we have here, there's no space inside the walls. You don't have drywall and 2x4s or 2x6s and insulation in there. It's just solid logs. So there's nowhere to put ducting. So we have to have them in this space, and we have to deal with them, and we have to deal with them as cleverly as possible because we can't get around it. I want to show you the range. I love this range and the area around it that we've created. This is from Blue Star. One thing I love about Blue Star, besides the fact that they offer a really great cooking experience, is you can do beautiful custom colors. We opted for kind of this really soft blue, gray, and then I loved the idea of having this arched hood. We needed to get creative with this and how we were gonna vent it. We didn't want something to come down any further because our ceilings are already kind of low and we're restricted. So we opted to do a brick with a lime wash on it. Kind of is different than the rest of the house, but I love it, and it still feels kind of old and weathered. And it gives you a little bit of an opportunity for space on each side. We've got drawers on each side, but kind of sets this off as being a really beautiful space. I want to point out some really neat aspects of this kitchen. This is a dolomite countertop. It's a stone slab. It's not as hard as a quartzite, but it is better than a marble. I loved the colors of this. It's light, but it has this beautiful greens, kind of into the olives. It has a little bit of a terracotta. I think it just pulls the outside in, which is really what we wanted for this entire space. We did some neat things though, like we have this end of it with a butcher block that's integrated. We have a lot of storage opportunities that we took because we could not have many uppers in here. So on this back side of the island, we took every opportunity to have extra storage. And even in our casual dining nook, which I love this oval table, by the way, it fit perfect. We have storage down here below. Just every little bit that we could find, we took advantage of that. And I love that we have these windows, this cozy little breakfast nook on the bench with the outside in. I love this spot. I have to point out our faucet because we're obsessed with this waterworks faucet. It's so fun. It's called the regulator faucet. It's a pretty penny. Absolutely worth it in this space. We splurged for that. Could not be happier. Right here, this is the spot where we now enter into the 10,000 square foot addition. The original cabin was around 2,500 to 3,000, so we are well more than doubling the space. This is where you walk in. We didn't want it to feel so obvious, so we kept the ceiling low, and we also kept the wood T&G here so that it still talked to this other part of the kitchen. Originally in the plans, this was going to be the dining room, but for a house this size, we needed a bigger kitchen than we were given with the original cabin space. So we decided to add a second island with seating. Again, we have lots of storage. Over here, we have big drawers. Even though this is up on feet and it looks totally open underneath, we kind of wanted a little bit more of a table-light feel. But we still have storage, which is fantastic. And then this whole side, we have under-counter refrigerators, we have more storage, and we have really cool things like these pop-up outlets because we don't want to have to see the ugly outlets here. Also, this was a space where we didn't have any room to put them in the backsplash except for this one. So we didn't want to have this, ugly outlet cut into our beautiful dolomite slab. I love the big windows in here. We have them on both sides. Everybody likes to gather in the kitchen. It's a really important space. But when you're in here, you get to see out the front and the back of the home. Now we're gonna walk over here, back into the entry. This is where we started the tour from. And you can see the massive volume of this space. It is a fantastic spot where you walk in from the front and you see straight through to the back of the house, to the gorgeous mountains and the aspen and all this beautiful property. It is breathtaking. And we were very intentional with all the materials, the color scheme that we used to make sure that this house was supporting player to the beautiful outside. The middle section of this space is actually the dining room. This table we had custom made. It's super cool. This folds on top of itself, so when you open it up, you can see, I think it's like 16 to 20 people at this. We have room on both sides to expand it, but for everyday purposes, it houses 10 seats. We did these really neat hair on hide wing backs for the host and hostess chairs. I think it's just fun. It gives a lot of texture to it. Again, it feels like you're in the mountains. For the great room seating area, we have a massive leather sectional and a huge stone fireplace that's real wood burning again. And we just wanted this to feel so cozy, really comfortable. We wanted to add texture. Anytime you're working with leather, because it's such a slick texture, I really like to add other things that have more texture to them. So this rug has this depth in its pattern. We added some faux furs, linens. We have a velvet. This is kind of almost like a burlap. We wanted everything to feel like something you wanted to go touch. It helps create warmth in the space and it helps to layer and create more interest. Even like the pattern on the coffee table and the console tables has more of an interesting shape. We have kind of like a parquet pattern going on. It just gives, again, a little bit more texture to the space. I'm going to take you into the powder bathroom, which is just off of the great room. Powder bathrooms should always be an opportunity to have a little bit of a wow factor, something that's really different. They tend to be really, really boring spaces if you don't step outside of the box. I love this wallpaper we chose. It's a mural that's printed on a grass cloth. It's in all these different gorgeous shades of greens and olives and khakis, and it just feels like a little bit of nature. I love the tile that we use to play off of the wallpaper. It's a stone mosaic. It has some limestone, it has some basalt, but it's in a geometric pattern, which again feels a little bit more modern. So it's kind of this play on old but new. This vanity was a little bit tricky because we had to keep it narrow for the space so that we had enough walkway here. So we opted for this beautiful limestone sink. It's a vessel sink. We had just really unique hardware, and I love the pewter faucets. We also did pewter bathware just to complement it, and pewter sconces on either side, which these have a really beautiful detail. They look like a branch, a little bit of texture, all playing off of this nature scene. We're now gonna go into the mudroom and the laundry room. We have in here, again, another stone pebble tile. Back like in the 80s, 90s, the stone pebbles were rounded and they kind of hurt your feet. But I love that these flat pebbles are back in again. I think they're very organic. They don't hurt your feet anymore. And I love the color that's in here. We have, again, kind of some greens and some charcoals and some blacks, which just feels so beautiful coming from outside. We have lockers here. Again, another locker hiding a mini split. We have the mesh wire front. This can store all of your coats, hats, boots. Anything that's wet can also be tucked underneath. We let the tile run underneath the cabinets so that if you had like wet shoes or boots, they're okay. They're not going to damage anything on our benches. I love this vintage flag. Even though this is definitely not in the greens and blacks, it's the perfect pop of color here. And again, this is an original one from 1896. Just really cool. The laundry room's just next to it. And as you walk through, you can see, even though this is a new part of the addition, we still have a true log cabin build. So these are solid walls with logs only and chinking. This laundry room is really the laundry room of anyone's dreams. We actually opted for, again, a butcher block wood countertop. This was tricky to get because with all the different finishes that they kept putting on it, we're making it look kind of plasticky. We wanted it to feel really, really raw, so ended up having just an oil sealer on here. We have a cool cast cement sink, and this is enough storage. You have double stacking washer and dryers, tons of extra cabinets for towels, linen, cleaning supplies. It's a really great space, gives us a lot extra room to tuck things away that you don't want to be seen. We're gonna go now into the master suite. This suite is unlike any you've ever seen before. It's really unique, really different. It was really challenging actually to work with too, because it's 2 levels. First off, you can see again, we have our real log cabin construction with the chinking, and these logs were sourced on the property. They were sourced from the same forest that the original cabin was built from. We ended up using this wall covering here from Philip Jeffries that is a wood veneer. I loved that it still felt woodsy, but had like a fun, interesting pattern to it. And it's so pretty how you can see like the different colors and the different tones that come out. Sometimes it almost looks dimensional when you're standing back a little bit. When you come back further into this space, you'll see that it is so expansive and so tall. That's because there is another level, a second story to this suite, which we'll go up and we'll take a peek at that in just a minute. This main area has the master bed with also an open bathroom concept. When we were working on this, it was very challenging because we knew we wanted this second story, that you wanted to be able to look down and kind of see into this space. So we didn't want to create extra walls. We didn't want to have to wall off the bathroom, because then how do you finish off the top of that ceiling? How do you finish the lid without it looking always dirty and dusty when you're on that second level? So we opted, let's just not do it. So if you walk in here, the first thing you're going to notice in this bathroom is this gorgeous tub. This is hammered copper. It's real metal, but it is the jewel piece of this space. I think it's so beautiful sitting against this giant window. You could just imagine sitting here, soaking in this tub, looking at this beautiful scenery. One theme throughout this house that we have is the mixing of metals and the mixing of woods and materials and the mixing of old and new. And this space is the perfect example of that. We mixed marble with copper, with polished nickel, with wood. Let me show you some of those details. The bath fixtures are all from Waterworks, and they're in a polished nickel, which they have the most beautiful polished nickel because it has a really warm undertone to it. It's actually on top of a brass, and so that brass kind of shines through, which makes it marry really, really well with the copper. I love a hardwood floor in a bathroom. People will argue me on this. They'll say it's not the best with water, but it is so beautiful and it's so soft underfoot. Tile gets really hard when you're standing on it a long time, so I love the softness that the wood brings. And we wanted to continue this into the space because it is so open. There wasn't a great spot to make that transition. So we have a white oak floor. We have another oak for the vanity wood with a little bit of a gray glaze on it. So that just deepens it a little bit so it's not too one tone. We have the wood of the log, so that's 3 different wood tones that we're mixing here. we brought in a marble, and this time we did it polished. A lot of the other spaces in this home we have honed, which is a more matte finish, but this has the high gloss polish, which just makes it feel a little bit more elegant and a little bit more formal, which we really wanted for this bathroom. We have, again, polished nickel on our mirrors and our light fixtures, but then we went to a cast bronze on our hardware. Again, these are from Rocky Mountain. They're really solid, very beautiful. We have full slab marble on the walls of this shower. I love a moment for a full slab wall. It is just art that nature created, and it's so pretty. We have a mosaic on the floor in the same marble, and a mosaic on the lid of the ceiling that just is above the rain head. One thing that was a little bit tricky for this space was the closet. We had to kind of tuck it back around here, and so we have kind of a galley closet. It's kind of long and narrow, so we put a full-length mirror at the end just to kind of open up the space. One thing we also incorporate into this house a lot is the use of metal. We have it on the railing, we have it in some of the light fixtures, we have it even on this bed. This is a canopy bed that looks like log or kind of like a branch, but it's metal with like a patina on it. So you're gonna see that theme throughout the rest of the house as well. Again, here we just wanted all of our textiles to feel really yummy and cozy, and like you just want to jump in bed and on a cold winter's night and just cuddle up. We have a real wood burning fireplace in this space again, which just adds to the ambiance and the beauty of this room. As I mentioned before, because we can't run things through the walls because they're solid logs, we had moments where we had to get creative, like this, where we needed some piping for water. We actually have it over by the bathroom too. And so we just opted to expose it, and we put it in a raw copper, which kind of ties back to the tub and the pretty sinks. So we have those moments here and there. Of course, we have some beautiful plaid draperies. You know we love plaid at Bond, so that you can close this off whenever you need full privacy, but for most of the time, this is just going to be so open and have that view captured every possible second we can get it. We have some big, cozy swivel chairs here. These are so big, you could put 2 people in each, but it's so fun because you can turn these around if you want to look outside, or face each other, or you can face in. It's up to you. We're gonna go up to the second story of this master suite. We have here this open floating staircase with this raw steel and glass handrail. When you get to the top of the stairs, you have this kind of secret office space. It's really different and fun. I love that we have an opportunity here where we have windows on all 4 sides. There's so much natural light here, and you have this opportunity for a cozy sitting space. I love being able to have sitting spaces in places like the master suites or an office, just anywhere, again, that we can find an opportunity to have a little conversation or a reading nook. Again, this is one of those moments. And if you come over here, this is one of the best views of the whole house. There's a private deck off of this suite that comes out here and overlooks the property. You can see the pond, you can hear the river, and you can see how gorgeous this was and how much we drew inspiration from nature to bring inside of this home. The amount of outdoor space for this home is crazy. Almost every room has doors that lead outside to a deck or a patio or a little moment where you can be outside. We had to order so much outdoor furniture to fill this. It was insane. Look at the size of this stuff. Look at this guy. It's huge. He is. Look how big this is. I mean, really, we wanted the space, but we couldn't. Yeah. That does it for the main level. Now we have the whole lower floor to explore. And this has a very different feeling downstairs. We wanted the main level and the original cabin to just feel really serene and calm and like a retreat, but the lower level is all about having fun. In the lower level is actually the entrance from the garage. So it's definitely more of a casual space, but we wanted to set the stage right off the bat from when you come down the stairs that this is about fun. We have this really colorful painting of a moose, just more playful, and it's gonna kind of transition into the rest of the space. Because we didn't want to have anything feel too fussy down here, we opted for a real flagstone floor. That way it's just bulletproof. You don't have to worry about anybody spilling anything on it. It's not gonna scratch, it's not gonna dent. Super low maintenance. Follow me into this space. This is so amazing. We have over here to the right, this is our theater media room, where we took a ton of time to get this right. We have all of this paneling with the acoustic fabric, with the built-in sconces. It was a lot of work to get all these details right, but it ended up being just so worth it. We have built-in cabinetry at the back with a really, really big screen television. And because some people like to have more of a traditional theater seat and other people don't, we thought, why not have some of each? So we've got these theater chairs on the top level, and then we did these TV lounge chaises on the bottom level. So if you like to cuddle up and lay down, this is your spot. If you want to recline, this is your spot as well. Theater seating is sometimes really not attractive, and so we went with a really, really pretty olive green leather, and it has this beautiful quilted detail. It just kind of takes it up a notch. It makes it a little bit more high-end instead of feeling like you're in an actual movie recliner in a theater. We have a snack bar here underneath this gorgeous honed marble. We didn't want anything to be too distracting from what was going on over here, so everything's just under counter. We have under counter beverage centers. We have like a little sink in the middle just to quickly wash out your drinks, but really we wanted to keep this very clean. You guys, on the opposite side of this room, we have a pool. This is behind these glass doors, which open up. So this room is basically party central. You can have a movie playing and you can have everybody in this pool. It's a spa pool, so it's heated, but big enough that you can kind of swim and have fun in it. We went for moodiness completely in this. We wanted this to feel like it was just this deep, dark emerald pool, like out in the woods. So the bottom, the inside of that is a darker color so that it keeps that dark emerald green. And we went really moody. We have a tile on the walls. We needed to treat it with something that was good with the humidity and the water, but we wanted to still feel woodsy, so it's a wood pattern tile in an ebony color. We even have black pool noodles. This can be closed up when you're not using it, and you just turn off the lights and you don't even know it's there. It's just kind of this dark abyss, and then when you turn on the lights and you open it up, voila, you have this incredible space. This house is definitely the house of surprises, and I have another one for you. If you follow me back into the media room, we needed a place to house the AV, so we did this hidden bookcase. But besides just the AV, we decided to not stop there. So here's all your AV equipment. We have behind this vault door, we have a safe room. This is like every man's dream, right? We have this really like crazy space with like all this reclaimed wood cabinetry. There's displays for like if you're a gun collector or hunter. TV, leather top on here. We did a menswear pattern, flannel, this like little herringbone pattern on the wall just to keep it feeling really masculine and rugged. There's also a bathroom in here, so if you ever needed to be safe, you ever needed to keep something totally hidden, this is your spot. just off of the pool, we have the pool bathroom. And we're gonna take you in here. The best part about this is this gorgeous slab back here. I love this slab so much. When we found this, we were like, that's it. That's what we're basing this whole bathroom off of. This is a space that has 3 shower heads in it. We've had some internet trolls saying things that like were not appropriate about the shower. They need to get their heads out of the gutter because this is just about coming in off of the pool, you guys, and rinsing off in your bathing suits. Nothing else. But we wanted a space that was big enough for that. And maybe you have little kids that need to be rinsed off and they need help. So that's why we went with the larger shower. So beautiful. It's like artwork that nature made again. And then we wanted the vanity to just be really fun and rustic. So it's totally, again, in the reclaimed wood. We have a composite trough sink with these really unique faucets that kind of have this little mechanical wheel off to the side. So it's just a cool space. And I love the tile floor as well. Again, it's a stone mosaic, but it's in this mini brick pattern that's straight set, so it feels a little bit modern. I'm now standing underneath the original cabin. There was a basement that got expanded and excavated more, and then they added some additional bedrooms down here. So let me show you those. We wanted this space to feel really cozy and warm because it is in a basement, which obviously was going to feel a little bit colder and more sterile. So every textile that we used in here, we were pretty thoughtful about. We have this really gorgeous flannel wall covering on here. Wall coverings make a huge, huge difference, you guys. And this just makes it so soft. We have faux fur again. We have a boucle. We have some wool plaids, some more herringbone textures. We just wanted a lot of play on layering in this space. It's also a really beautiful bedroom because you have your own fireplace here, and we even included like just a little nook with a mini fridge. So it's a great spot for guests. This room has an ensuite bathroom, which we added more marble to. But for this countertop, we opted for a leathered finish. I talked before about polished and honed. Leather takes it one step further and it adds texture to it, which definitely plays with all of our mountainy vibes going on here. We have tile backsplash here, but we did continue to pull the wallpaper into here. It just needed the warmth of the space. I love a wall mount faucet. These are kind of fun and vintage in this pewter finish, which is also in the shower. This is the bunk room of all bunk rooms. This room has 2 queens, 1 king, 1 full, and 3 twins. So it can sleep up to 11 people. This was a room that is for cousins, friends, family. It's just a really fun space. And so we have a king here with a twin on top. This is a full size. We have 2 more twins here. And then we have 2 queens that are kind of side by side. So this was actually kind of a nightmare when we had to come and do bedding because we were like, which one is which? But it works. It's so cool. We wanted a really eclectic mix of pillows and patterns. So it actually doesn't really matter when you make these beds where you put the pillows because they're all just kind of mixed matched anyway. We wanted it to be easy and fun. We also have a center here for gaming. These are some really comfy, loungy leather chairs. We have a metal console. This is a place where you can come, you can do your Xbox, you can play your games. Total hangout spot for kids or teens or adults who wouldn't want to be down here. One thing that's really fun with this is the bathroom. We really wanted to take this opportunity and just be playful and a little bit more bold. So we have a pattern tile on the floor. We have a different tile that's in a black in the shower. We went in this really gorgeous kind of turquoise glazed tile for the shower walls. We also took that into the water closet. on the back wall behind the toilet, and then we did this really fun grass cloth print on the walls. And we have another tile in here behind the vanity wall. So we just wanted this to be fun and playful and eclectic. I love this vintage sink. This is by Kohler. It just gives a little bit of a nod to, again, the old cabin vibes that we were going for. And when you have this many people staying in a space, you need a second water closet. So we opted for 2 of those back to back. That way you don't have to wait very long. This space I'm entering was actually the original mechanical room, but we decided we wanted to make it pretty and functional and add another laundry room for the lower floor. So we got really creative and we had all these cabinets built to house mechanical. Like, here's your water heater. And then you've got your double stacking washer and dryer, some extra counter space. We went really rustic with this because this room also holds a surprise that we're gonna tell you about now. This is why I pointed out the mine cart in the old part of the cabinet, because it's kind of a clue to what's hidden behind this door. Not many designers get to do a 115-foot underground secret tunnel, but I did. This is the space that can transport you underground to the detached guest house. So if you don't want to go outside in the snow in the winter time, you can walk underground. It kind of feels like an Indiana Jones movie or like a runaway minecart moment. We wanted to really lay into this, so we wrapped the whole thing in the reclaimed wood, and we have these cool seated glass lanterns that light the way all the way to the other side. This is going to take about 20 minutes for me to walk to the ends.
There's some 40-yard dashes in here.
I know.
Keep nice and cool.
Yeah.
Put your kids on their scooters in the wintertime. This staircase leads us up to the detached garage with the guest quarters. But first, we're going to take a peek at all the batteries. This house is completely off-grid. So we have solar panels, it has its own well, and I don't even know how to explain how cool this is, but it's unlike anything I've ever worked on before. All right. This is the outside entrance. This is the man door that's on the exterior of the detached garage that goes upstairs above the garage to this guest space.
But you wish you could have a candy right now.
Yeah, I do. Actually, I'm getting a sucker as soon as I'm done with this. Be my treat. This is the last room of the tour, and this is the billiard/guest house. Up here, this is above the garage, the detached garage, and you see we have like a pool table, we have a bar with some pretty hair on hide stools, foosball table. This sectional is a sofa sleeper that pulls out into a king-size bed. I actually love this because it's in this really chunky boucle with this inverted pleat detail, which just makes it feel casual. And then we also have a kitchen here, and even though this is just a small kitchenette, it does have a full dishwasher and fridge, so somebody could easily stay here for a weekend or a little bit longer, and it would be a lovely space for guests. It also has a full deck out front that's very large and faces the main house. So you get fantastic views from this space as well.
Great.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Yay.
Something about you makes me feel alive. The only one that makes the
We're now standing back outside the front of the home. You can see underneath this driveway is where the secret tunnel was. So that took us from the basement level underneath to the detached garage and the guest suite. This is a great view though, because you can see this is the original cabin, and from that wall over is the addition. We worked really hard to make that just look seamless, like it had never been an addition, like this is how it had been from the very beginning, to keep the integrity and the charm of the log cabin style home. Thanks so much for joining us for this tour. We were so excited to be able to show you this today and open these doors up. Comment below, let us know what your favorite spaces are, your favorite design elements are, and we hope to see you next time. Okay. Woo! The secret tunnel. I messed that up. I said a newel post. It's not like a newel post. It is a double decker master bedroom. Double decker. Yeah, this is a game.
It's a game. If you spot Hannah the correct amount of times.
I'm gonna go upstairs. We're gonna go upstairs.
Just as long as we feel